Kris, I get asked all the time, should I buy a new house or should I buy a used house? And the reality is there's pros and cons. There's 4 really good reasons to buy an old house, but there's also 4 really good reasons to buy a new house. And in today's video, I'm gonna cover all of those with you. All right, so what sets a new home and an old home apart? It really comes down to the age. And I think it's important to understand that things happen with age in the game of real estate. Like if you're buying something like in the early 1970s, it's like I was licking the wall and there was lead paint in there. That could be problematic. Or it's like, is that asbestos in my ceiling? Well, today's code wouldn't allow for that. And so understanding the age of real estate, I think is part of understanding really a big part of the pro and con game. So we're gonna start with, why would I wanna buy an old house versus a new home? And there's 4 major reasons why. Here's the first one. Architecture, right? They have a lot of character. You definitely stand out from those box homes, cookie cutter new homes in the area. Craftsmanship and attention to detail, that was actually a really big deal back then. Right now, I swear, it's just like this slam and go kind of feel. And then when you go to an old home, you have options, right? It's like, well, that's Victorian, or that's French Tudor, or that's colonial, right? There's character, and so you have a chance to pick styles that aren't really replicated today. The second reason for buying old is the mature landscaping. I remember when I built my house, I put literally 6 figures into the landscaping, and I was just a couple of days ago visiting it. And then it had like a decade to grow and mature, and we did this really cool overgrowth of it. Well, my wife and I haven't lived in that home for years, but a couple days ago we were out visiting our friends that bought our house, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is such a beautiful, mature yard. And that's one of the benefits that you get. Often when you buy a tract home or something new, it's like, well, the tree looks like a pencil and it hasn't really had a chance to really take root and like become everything that it's going to. The third benefit, and I would say probably one of the most important benefits, is that you have a chance to select the neighborhood that you want to be a part of. It's established, right? Like you understand that it has history, people have laid down some roots there. Everything that you really want to know about the neighborhood is now a known, versus when you move into a new home and it's like, I don't know who my neighbors are, I don't know exactly what the demographic is exactly going to be. Everyone has just moved in, and so everything feels really new. But for those that are looking for strong communities and it's like, established roots, I would say this is a really big advantage for someone buying something old. And if it's old, it's probably more direct to Old Town, or maybe that's a new town. The reality is that old homes usually are closer to more centralized locations where people want to be. It can literally mean a shorter commute. And the fourth benefit of going old, which is going to be a really big deal for some people, is that old sometimes means less expensive. Bottom line is, if you want something new, you're going to pay a premium. You might end up paying 30% more for it because it's brand new. It was just built. Maybe you got to even custom design it. You go for something old, you're going to save a pretty penny. There are, however, some disadvantages of buying something old. I'm going to run through them real quick. Number one is maintenance. It's it's old, so things are wearing out. It's like, I'm going to have to replace the carpet and the paint. Yeah, but have you thought a little bit more about the infrastructure systems? Have you thought about the HVAC? Have you thought about the plumbing? Have you thought about some of those things? You're going to have maintenance. Number two is it's really hard to change the floor plan. Like, I want you to think about that for a little bit. My friends just bought a house from the 70s and they blasted out all of these walls because they were trying to replicate what you experience in a new home, which is that open floor plan. But there's only so many walls that you can blow out before you realize that's just a disadvantage of having an old home. Number three is utility costs. You're on older equipment. It's going to be less energy efficient, so it's going to cost you more money. So one of the advantages is like, Kris, I got a great discount on my house compared to buying something new, but the utility costs, that is a real monthly cost that you're gonna have to deal with. And then number four, you have to take a look at the safety regulations, right? Construction standards have changed over time. Old homes might not be built to code. And then there's electrical hazards. There's plumbing failures that also occur. And so old homes are just going to have some of those finicky problems, some of them more serious than others. But if they haven't been updated, that now becomes your problem if you buy it. Let's talk about buying a new home though. There are 4 advantages and disadvantages of buying new. Here they are. Number one is that you don't have to worry about the maintenance costs, right? It's all going to be delayed because everything's brand new. You probably have things under warranty. It's like, this dishwasher is like under warranty for the next 24 months. And this furnace is, for the next 5 years or whatever. So you don't have deferred maintenance costs. That's a really big advantage. Number two is it's energy efficient, right? If you're buying something today, all the modern technology that has gone into making it what it is, you get to harvest and reap those benefits. Number three, safety, right? I mean, with today's building codes, this is going to be the safest thing you can buy. I remember when I bought my very, very first home, I was 23 years old, and I feel a little embarrassed to tell you the story, but literally I had the gas company come out and say, hey, can you show me how to turn on this really old school furnace? And it was summer, so they did show me, they lit it. And then months later, when it actually got cold, I had to remember how to do it myself. And I didn't do a great job of remembering. I went to the ER, I lost all of these eyebrows, I lost some of my eyelashes. I'm gonna tell you that that old home and that furnace system was a lot less safe than the newer ones that are like, oh, you don't even have to like light a match and stick it in a dark hole. Like, it has a pilot system. It's automatically gonna kick on in the winter. And then number 4, you have your big living spaces, right? It's like, I look at this house was built in the last 5 years, and it's like, I love the living space. It's built for gathering. People can come into my home. Old homes don't really have that. But there are 4 disadvantages of buying a newer home. The first disadvantage of buying a new home is you're probably not centralized. You're probably like not near city center. You might be literally out in the boondocks. The second disadvantage of new homes is that kind of the tract home system is like, let's minimize the yard. Some might view that as an advantage, but what they're trying to do is cram as many homes in there as they possibly can, which really just means you have smaller outdoor living spaces. Number 3, it costs you more money. You have higher upfront costs when you buy something new because there's no chance to get a rebate or a discount or it got old, it has deferred costs, let's lower the price. It's like the price is what the price is. And then number 4, if it's a new home, there's a really good chance you're gonna have to deal with HOAs. Those pesky homeowner association fees stack up. There's like, some of those are like, not like $50 a month, they're like $350 a month. And so that's also something you have to contend with. I got one for you. 50% of the investment properties that I buy, they're brand new. I specialize in going into the markets where I get the highest ROI possible on something that's new so that I basically get the advantage of being where people want to be. I don't have the deferred maintenance costs. And at the end of the day, it increases my ROI. And so new is definitely an important part of my platform. If you're interested in investing in real estate, not just buying for you and your family, but actually owning real estate as an investment, might be kind of shocking to hear, but real estate can produce 25, 35, 40% annual ROIs on your money, which, by the way, has the ability to create a really fantastic retirement. If you want to see proof on my last several thousand deals and what it's been like for people to partner with me and buy real estate together, click the link below. Let me show you a happier alternative to a 401k and IRA. I can show you mathematically how to make 27 more times for your retirement than those things are going to do for you. And the reality is, if you're pouring money into a 401k or IRA, I can show you how to make 27 times more money for retirement. Click that link. Let me show you my numbers, my track record on my last $2 billion of real estate that people have invested with me on. Whoa, Kris, should I buy a home or should I build a home? That's a really great question. And I actually made a video for you explaining it. Click right here and let me give you my answer.